Hey everyone, this is a preview of the United Cup 2025. We're going to be looking at the matches and just kind of talking about the tournament. There isn't much on it right now online, which I kind of find surprising, which is why I wanted to kind of broadcast something about it. I've been a handicapper for 2 years now, made some decent money doing this, and I want to make sure you guys at least have some information about these matches. So again, the United Cup is basically a tournament where countries are facing off against other countries in group stage matches. There's a singles match in women's, a singles match in men's, and then there's a doubles match. That's a mixed doubles match with one woman and one man playing against another fellow woman and man on the other country side. We're going to focus on the singles matches and particularly looking at December 26th, 2024. These matches will be played on December 27th, 2024. There are two locations of where the matches are being played. One's in Perth. The other is in Sydney, Australia. The court in Sydney, Australia is faster statistically than the court in Perth. These are both outdoor hard courts that have kind of an indoor flavor to them as well. So relatively fast courts overall. The first match we're going to look at is Shevchenko and Carreno Busta. So, Pablo Carreno Busta is really a top 10 tennis player when he's at his peak. He really didn't play too much last year, given a lot of the injuries. Came back in the fall, had relative success, particularly at Winston-Salem. But it's someone that I think has done well with the rest, and in December did do okay with some matches. Shevchenko is really the most mercurial of all players. When you think about him, he's in like that Bublik category. Doesn't have as much of a peak, I think, as a Bublik, but is someone that can certainly, spring some upsets. He's, a little bit of a relative underdog here at like plus 110, plus 120 on the money line at most places. And Pablo Carreno Busta is around minus 135, minus 140, minus 1.5 games at minus 120-ish. To me, I think the line's a little bit off. I think Pablo Carreno Busta should be more in that minus 175, minus 200 money line and really 2.5, 3 games. I think the value's in him. I think Shevchenko certainly could pull off the upset. I don't think he'll win the match, though. He might get a set. Carreno Busta is the better player, and he's beaten him on hard courts last year. Shevchenko did just play in an exhibition just this last couple weeks, and he went, he didn't play too well. He lost to Casper Ruud. Again, these are one-set exhibitions. Take what you will of him. But he has had a little bit maybe more game practice than Pablo Carreno Busta recently, although, Carreno Busta, in my mind, is the better player. So I think the value is in him in the minus 1.5, or really in the money line if you want to get cute at minus 135, minus 140. The second match is going to be Rybakina against Jessica Bouzas Maneiro. Rybakina is well known if you watch women's tennis. She's really a top 5 player when she peaks. She had a lot of injuries last year. But she's had some time off now, and she did just recently play in the exhibition last week as well as in the WTA finals. Went 1-2 in the WTA finals, but beat Sabalenka, who won the finals and arguably is the best women's hardcourt player in the world. This past week at the World Exhibition, where they just play one set, you lost a 7-6 set to Sabalenka, lost a 6-3 set to Swiatek, but did beat Simona Halep 6-4. So I think she's kind of getting back into gear. Bouzas Maneiro is someone that really did peak towards the back end of last year, is someone that can spring upsets and has beaten better players. But to me, Rybakina is a top 5 player, and she just does not lose to people outside the top 50. A winning percentage of around 90-some% at that rate. I'm going to go with Rybakina. It might be closer than expected, but I think she should win. I think a 2-0 set win is kind of the expectation there. And we're going to skip the doubles, and we're going to come back tomorrow to discuss the singles matches again. But this is just kind of a preview. There's not much out there, again, on this. Wanted to go over really 2 matches, one men's, one women's. For the men's match, in summary, Shevchenko, Pablo Carreno Busta. Pablo Carreno Busta is the better player. Unless he's still dealing with some injuries or some rust, he is the better player. Shevchenko does have a ceiling that can really compete with the best, but I don't see him doing that for a 2 out of 3 set match to win. I think the line's a little bit off there. Rybakina, Bouzas Maneiro. Again, the money line is something you really can't bet. I think the 2-0 sets is something to think about. But if you want to just wait and see how Rybakina plays, I think that's fair. She does have historically a good record down in Australia. Won Brisbane in the past. Has been in the Australian Open finals, as we know. So it's someone that I think down, at the beginning of the year with a little bit of that break that's kind of set up for the tennis players with that 1 month off is someone that has really taken advantage of it in the past. And so I like her 2-0. Is there value there? I think not significantly when you're looking at minus 250 at that kind of value. Might be worth passing and just kind of watching it. I think there is value in Shevchenko, Pablo, Carreno, Busta, so that's where I would make my bet for today. We'll be back for tomorrow with more information. Thanks again for listening, and have a wonderful day and happy holidays.